Namaste. Welcome. My name is Mikaela Soldan and I am an Ishta Yoga teacher. This class is themed with Ayurveda, and Ayurveda is an Indian life science, and it is a sister science of yoga that helps to explain our physical bodies and our mental states by using the five elements. And Ayurveda divides the five elements into three different doshas, and we each have all of these five elements, but we have different amount of each element in our bodies, and that is kind of the what explains our difference in our physical constitution and in our mental states. And this practice is designed to balance the Pitta dosha, which is the combination of water and fire. So naturally, you might have a little bit more Pitta in your constitution, which can make you a really good leader, very organized, determined, these qualities of the fire element. And in the summer, or if you live in a year-round hot climate, the Pitta dosha tends to dominate when it's hot outside. So even if you don't have a lot of Pitta dosha in your constitution naturally, in the summertime in a hot climate where there is, especially if there is humidity and heat combined, these water and fire elements combined, you might feel the sense of increase in your Pitta dosha. And if there is too much Pitta in your current state of being, it might make you irritable, it might make you angry, it might make you pissed. All these things that have to do with too much fire going on in our systems. Maybe physically we feel acid up here, our stomachs are upset. We can have skin rashes or sensitivity to sun. So any of those could be a sign of Pitta imbalance. And this practice is designed just for that. So if you're feeling overheated, if you're feeling irritable, if you're feeling just not balanced and well in your system in that regard, if there's too much heat going on, you're in the right place. This is the practice for you. And the aim of this practice is to make you feel calm, relaxed, peaceful internally. Let's begin. You will need a couple of cushions and a yoga strap. And if you do not have a yoga strap available, you can use any sort of belt or even a scarf that you may have handy at home. We're going to start in a reclined position. So come to lay on your back onto your mat, and you can take your yoga strap next to you on the floor. Just start by laying down comfortably. Your knees can be bent, maybe bringing them mat distance apart. Bring your inner knees to touch. Let your palms face up towards the ceiling. You might press into your elbows to place the shoulder blades comfortably under you so the chest is broad and open, and then lengthen also the back of the rib cage. You might move the head from side to side. Take a couple of deeper breaths in to drop down onto the floor, to drop down into your body. If it feels comfortable for you, close the eyes. Let the eyelids be heavy, the eyeballs be heavy. And the organ of the fire element, which is one of the elements in Pitta dosha, is the eyes. So that is the kind of perception organ related to fire. So by closing your eyes, you already begin to soften this fire element within you. Start noticing your breath, breathing into your belly, relax the abdominals. Breathe into the chest. And a way to spot a Pitta imbalance from the breath is to observe where the breath is moving. And many times if we have too much Pitta dosha in our bodies, we breathe to the side ribs. So it's a very kind of fiery breath. And if you notice that you in this moment breathe a lot sideways into the side ribs, like bellows, see if you can start directing the breath a bit more to the belly and a bit more to the chest. And with a Pitta dosha, you might also have a shorter breath, like a fiery, forceful breath. And see if you can soften your breath. The most important thing about balancing any of the doshas is the intention. It's not so much about what we do, but it's about how we do it. And if it feels nurturing to you, you can place one of your hands on your belly, the other one on your chest. Continue breathing here softly. Many times when we have too much pitta in our systems, we are very goal oriented and we're looking to achieve things. We're in this mindset of kind of crushing things. And if that becomes our all-time mindset, when it gets into our lives in all areas, even relaxing becomes an achievement, then we know it has been too much. So here, see if you can just breathe without a goal, without a specific outcome in mind. Just watch the natural flow of your breath. And if we have too much pitta in our mental state, we might not be happy with what we see. We might have this mindset of perfection, having to perfect everything. And even if your mind is going there, if it's still unhappy with your breath, just let that be for a moment. If you're not being perfect about lowering this pitta dosha right away, let that go. The mind is very, very sneaky in its ways of sneaking in the imbalance. So just allow yourself to enjoy one or two more breaths here. You can lower your arms down alongside of your body, separate your knees and bring your feet hip distance apart. We'll start with a practice called moving bridge, a simple vinyasa. As you next breathe in, lift your arms up towards the ceiling and all the way back behind you on the floor. And as you exhale, bring the arms back up towards the ceiling and down by your sides. Continue like this a few more times. On each inhale, sweeping the arms up and all the way to the floor behind you. Exhale, lower the arms back down and see if you can match the movement with the breath as best as you can. Again, without that becoming the ultimate goal or having to make it perfect. Just in the direction of linking the breath and the movement. On your next breath in, you can choose to press into your hands and lift the arms up as your hips lift off the ground. Exhale, lower the hips down, lower the arms down, and continue like this a few more times. Maybe extending your breath, making your inhale a little longer, making your exhale a little longer. See if you can keep your face nice and easeful. So many times, this is my own observation, if we have a lot of Pitta dosha, that tends to be reflected in the jaws. Perfectionism kind of locks the jaws, and we're always so serious about not making mistakes and doing things perfectly. So soften your jaw. A great practice to bring into our lives wherever we are, outside of the yoga practice too. After your next exhale, just lower the hips down and draw your knees into your chest. Here, if you'd like, you can rock from side to side. Allow your sacrum to be pressed against the floor. And now take your strap or your belt, lower the left foot down to the ground, take your right foot and loop the strap around the ball of the foot. And just simply hold on to the strap quite low. I like to have my elbows all the way to the ground. You can bend the knee if the hamstring feels tight. And then here, lengthen the spine. See if you can regain the natural lower back curve. So direct your tailbone in the direction of the front of the room or the kind of bottom end of your mat. Close the eyes here, relax the face and the jaw. And again, notice how you are doing this. So it's not so much about getting it perfectly right, which is what the Pitta imbalance will tell us. It doesn't give us a lot of mercy. It wants us to be perfect right away. See if you can bring your body into this shape as best as you can and then let it go. Allow your focus to rest in the spaces, in the areas of your body where you can soften and where you can feel a sense of letting go and ease. Take another few more cycles of breath here. And then slowly from here, you can release the strap, lower the right foot down, let the foot rest on the ground, and take the left leg, loop the strap around the ball of the left foot. Again, take a comfortable hold of the strap, relax the shoulders. See if you can regain the lumbar curve, either bend the knee or straighten the leg, whatever feels good to you. And then breathe here. Lifting the legs up is cooling, and it helps to kind of create this lymphatic drain where these fluids in our body that easily get stuck in the feet, especially when it's hot, get to move naturally down with the help of gravity. Can you breathe all the way to your lower belly? Now slowly begin to release your left leg. Move the strap to the side, out of the way. Draw your knees into the chest and maybe rock from side to side. And then bring your hands behind your knees and begin to rock back and forth. And if this is not good for your spine, you can always roll over to one side. Otherwise, rocking here a few moments and then gain some momentum, come all the way up. You can cross your shins, come to hands and knees. You can move back on your mat. Separate your fingers comfortably wide. Have your knees hip distance apart. Start with circles, very freestyle circles. Just moving the spine in any kind of way that feels good for you. Can circle in the opposite direction. Just tuning into how your body is feeling in this moment. Keep the face and the jaw relaxed. Can come back to center, curl the toes under. As you breathe in, begin to lengthen the spine forward. Keep the back of the neck long. Unlock your elbows. So if you tend to lock, overextend your elbows, unlock them, soften them. And then press the tops of the feet down. On your exhale, round the spine. Release your head. Create a nice and even curve to the spine. Inhale again. Lengthen the heart forward. Keep the face soft. Exhale, the tops of the feet press down, round the spine. Continue like this a few more times on your own. The Pitta dosha, it accumulates in our bellies, in our stomach. So that is the center of fire element in our bodies, where there is this ability to transform the acids in our body. They act as kind of like fire. This is the solar plexus center. And when we have too much Pitta dosha, we usually tend to feel it in our stomachs as increased acidity, maybe increased digestion, like everything is moving too fast. If we have too little fire, then the digestion might move too slow. On your next exhale, still rounding the spine, and after that, just come back to neutral spine. Move your hands a little forward on your mat, slightly forward of your shoulders. Curl the toes under. Lift your hips up and back. Come into downward facing dog. And here you can bend your knees, one knee at a time. Creating more space to the backs of the legs. And the most important thing in downward facing dog is the length of the spine. So if you notice that your spine is rounded, just leave the knees bent as you begin to slow down the movement. You can leave the knees bent, press the floor away, lift your toes off the ground, separate your toes wide, and then lower the toes down to ground yourself fully. Release the head. When we have too much of this tendency to control, we tend to look forward. We tend to be always looking where we're going. Release your head, shake it out. Notice if it's hard for you to let go of that control. Let go of your head. Take a deep breath in through the nose and exhale, sigh out, open your mouth. And take 2 more of those nice sigh breaths. You can make sound. If you have a lot of anger, irritation, let it out. Whatever it is, just let it out through your sound. And then next, begin to walk your hands back towards your feet. So walking to the back of your mat. As you come there, bend your knees. Rest your belly on your thighs. So bend your knees as much as is needed for the belly to rest on the thighs. Fold, hold on to the opposite elbows. Release the head. You can sway from side to side if you'd like. You can cross the opposite forearm in front, just switching the crossing. Maybe shift the weight from side to side. Begin to connect down to the earth element. So the Pitta dosha is a combination of water and fire, and generally the imbalance is when the fire has become too big and there is too much fire, not enough water. That's when we want to connect to the water element to tame the fire a little bit. Release your arms all the way down. And now begin to roll up your spine, 1 vertebrae at a time. Can you just imagine all the 24 vertebrae stacking one on top of the other? Draw the shoulders back as you come up and let your head float between your shoulders. Stand here as imperfect as you are in this moment. Can you resist the urge to fix your clothing, your hair? And if you can't, don't feel bad about it. But just see if you can stand here, a little messy, a little kind of in progress, because that's what we are. That's what life is always going to be. There is not going to be this one moment when we arrive to a perfectly ready life. It's not when we achieve that work goal. It's not going to happen when we find that perfect place to live, when we have that partner, that family, that car. Life is always in progress. Bring your palms to touch at your heart center. Tap back into your center, into your breath. Can you be strong yet relaxed and easeful in your stance? We're going to start with the gentle sun breath practice. As you next begin to inhale, reach your arms around and up. As you exhale, you can soften at the knees, fold all the way over the legs. As you inhale, lift your hands to your shins, lengthen the spine. And as you exhale, fold all the way down. As you inhale, reach the arms around and up, reaching to the sky. Exhale, lower the hands down through the midline. Same thing again. Inhale, reach the arms around and up. Exhale, fold forward out over the legs. As you breathe in, lift halfway up, lengthen the spine. Exhale and fold all the way down. Inhale, rise up, stretch your arms out to the sky. Exhale, lower the hands down through the midline. One more time, move at your own pace, at your own breath. Notice, what is your mindset around doing this? Are you seeking for perfection? Are you being overly critical to your performance? This Pitta Dosha imbalance can be directed outwardly as an anger and outbursts to other people, or it can be internalized. As you next breathe in, again, reach the arms around and up. Exhale, start folding forward out over the legs. As you breathe in, lift halfway, lengthen the spine. This time on the exhale, lower the hands down. Walk your way all the way forward. Come into downward facing dog. Make sure you walk far enough forward for the hips to stay up and the spine to be long. Release the head again. Let go of control. Let your gaze rest between your feet or your lower legs, or close the eyes. Can you feel your breath nourishing your body? Trust in this chaotic perfection and this chaotic organization of the universe. It is not meant for our minds to understand, to comprehend, but there is an underlying order in the chaotic outplay of the universal events. You don't have to be in control. As you next breathe in, come forward into plank pose. Lower the knees down here. Take an inhale in your modified plank, and on the exhale, lower all the way down. Point your toes back, draw the shoulder blades back, and as you inhale, lift your head on your chest for a baby cobra. So not lifting high at all. Exhale, lower all the way down. Same thing again. Inhale, lifting up. You can lift your hands off the ground to see if you have gone too far. And if you're able to stay up high without the help of your hands, you're at the right height. On the exhale, lower it down and take one more like this. This time holding the baby cobra. Keep the elbows close to the body. Notice if you're squeezing your butt. Are you being a tight ass? And soften the buttocks. See if you can lift from the upper back. Take one more inhale. On the exhale, release down. Press up to hands and knees. Come to child's pose with your knees maybe a little wider than your hips. Your big toes together. Sit back. Lower your forehead down. Because of the microphone, I'm gonna make a pillow of my hands. Rest the forehead down, and if you feel like your head is hanging, it's uncomfortable, place something under the forehead. Let the belly soften here. Relax your belly, relax your buttocks. Can you let go? So that internalized pitta, when we become overly critical to ourselves, we become incredibly judgmental. We're always looking for the flaws and the mistakes. I know that really, really well. Pitta is one of my dominant doshas, and I am not the kind of person who necessarily bursts out to other people. I burst out to myself. Almost no one can see that. It's just the inner child or the very innocent part in me that gets the outbursts. So can you soften the way you relate to yourself? You're never going to reach the perfection and the punishment mode. It's not going to take you there. By encouraging ourselves, we can actually make progress, not by punishing ourselves. And then start lengthening your arms forward, spread your fingers nice and wide, roll up back to hands and knees. You can bring the knees a little closer, press your hips up and back, downward facing dog. And now from down dog, start walking your feet towards the front of your mat this time. Come to the front part of your mat. Place your hands on your shins, and as you inhale again, lengthen the spine, lifting halfway up. Exhale, fold all the way over the legs. As you inhale, rise up to standing, reach your arms out to the sky. As you exhale, lower the hands down through the midline. Pause here for a moment. Perhaps again resisting the urge to fix. There is really nothing to fix. Come back to your breath. And as you next begin to inhale, sweep your arms around and up. As you exhale, start folding forward out over the legs. As you breathe in, lift halfway, lengthen the spine. Exhale, lower the hands down. Step your left leg far back. Lower your left knee down, and if the knee is sensitive, pad something under. As you breathe in, lift the arms up, reaching for the sky. And as you exhale, lower the hands down. Curl the back toes under, lift the knees. Step back to downward facing dog. Pause in down dog. Take about 5 cycles of breath here. And we're not going to practice chaturanga and up dog in our sun salutations, as they are heating and we're decreasing the heat from our systems. So we're just going to hold down dog, or you could come to child's pose instead. And as you next begin to inhale, lift the left leg straight back behind you. On your exhale, step or help your left foot forward. Lower the right knee down. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, lower the hands down, curl the back toes under, lift the knee, step to the front. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, prepare pose. Exhale, Uttanasana, full fold forward. Inhale, rise up, stretch your arms up to the sky. Exhale, lower the hands down through the midline. Same thing again. Inhale, reach the arms around and up. Exhale, start folding forward out over the legs. Breathing in, lift halfway, lengthen the spine. Exhale, lower the hands down. Step the right leg far back. Lower the right knee down. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, lower the hands down. Curl the back toes. Lift the knee. Downward facing dog or child's pose, whatever you prefer. If you need more cooling down, take child's pose. Can you let the head go? Can you let go of control? Can you let go of judgment? Just for this moment, allow yourself, give yourself the gift of practicing here judgment free. As you next breathe in, lift the right leg straight back. Exhale, step the right foot forward or help it up. Lower the back knee down. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, lower the hands down. Step the back foot forward. Inhale, prepare. Exhale and fold all the way down. Inhale, rise up into Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, lower the hands down, Tadasana. Pause here, either hands at the heart center, or you could lower the arms down, soften the tops of the shoulders, soften your jaw. And then if you're able to make a tube of your tongue, I don't know if you can see it behind my microphone. You can do that, or you can bring your tongue behind your upper teeth. We're going to do Sitali or Sitkari Pranayama. So you would breathe in through the mouth, through the tube, or through your teeth and your tongue. Close the mouth, breathe out regularly through the nose. Continue 5 more times. Take one more breath like this, allowing the cooling air to enter your system. And then pause and just observe how you feel. You can flutter your eyes open if they were closed. And then take your yoga strap now. Take a wide hold of your strap, and then you can stand with your feet hip distance apart. Take a wide hold of your strap, lift your arms up overhead, and see if you can align yourself in your Tadasana here. So instead of letting the lumbar curve emerge or the spine to round, the head to come forward, realign and find your Tadasana. Take an inhale here, and as you exhale, begin to lean over to the right side. Just press the left foot down, pull with the right hand. Notice if you're going forward and see if you can go directly sideways. Breathing to the left side of the body here. Keep your lowest abdominals engaged so your pelvis remains in the middle. And as you next inhale, come back to center, and exhale, lengthen up and over to the other side. If your neck gets tight, you can move your head a little bit so you make sure that you're not holding your head in a place that feels uncomfortable. So again, we don't get to our final goal through suffering. We don't have to put our bodies into a suffering place in order to reach our goal. The goal of yoga is something different. It's about becoming aware of our suffering and where we kind of created. Next inhale, come back to center. Exhale, lower the arms down. Take a moment to relax your shoulders. And then bring the strap behind your back now. Hold on to the strap and then begin to first soften the elbows a little bit and start lifting your arms, your strap away from your buttocks. And just breathing to the front of the chest, creating some spaciousness there. Relax the jaw again. Take one more nice breath here. And then release the arms all the way down. You can move the strap out of the way, put it to the side. Come to stand at the front part of your mat if you're not there already. Bring the palms together at the heart center. Keep the thumbs and the pinky fingers together. Open the other fingers wide into Padma Mudra, the Lotus Mudra, which represents this beauty that comes and grows through the mud. This is the beauty of your own heart, of your spirit. You don't have to be so hard on yourself. Tapping into the beauty of this flower blossoming within without you even trying, without you having to do anything to earn it or to grow it. Like you're breathing in the sweet fragrance of the flower. Close your palms to seal in the energy. Keep the palms together as you next inhale. Just lift the arms up through the midline. As you exhale, bow forward through prayer. Release your hands and drop your head. As you breathe in, lift halfway, lengthen the spine. Exhale, lower the hands down. Step back to downward facing dog. Pause in downward facing dog. Take an inhale in your down dog, and in your exhale, step your right foot forward, and you can help it up from the calf if you need to. We're going to take a moment in high lunge, so you can walk your hands to the front thighs, soften the back knee, let the pelvis, the tailbone release down, the hip points lift up slightly. If you're good here, balance-wise, you can lift your arms up. And then take a moment here to soften the shoulders and lengthen the back of the neck. Relax the jaw again. Let the mouth be soft, the roof of the mouth lift up towards the crown of your head. And first and foremost, or most importantly, your gaze soft. How is your mindset? Where is this practice taking you? Can you soften your approach? Take one more inhale here. And as you exhale, lower your hands down. Walk your hands to the left side. Turn your feet parallel. As you inhale, lift halfway, lengthen the spine. And on the exhale, begin to fold over the legs. Keep your spine long. Maybe your knees are slightly soft. And then notice if you're pushing. Are you forcing yourself to go further than your body is agreeing with? Does it feel like only if you went further you would be accepted or you would be enough? Can you trust that you don't have to push and force? There is no end goal in the asana. There is just presence. Can you stay present where you are? What can you discover in the place you are at instead of always trying to push further? You can walk your hands over to the left foot. Hold on to the left shin or the ankle. Maybe bend the opposite knee a little bit. Just getting into the inner thigh. Release your head again here. And then straighten your knee. Walk your hands back to center. Walk your hands over to the other foot. Bend the right knee. Release the head again. Straighten the knees. Walk your hands back to center. Lengthen the spine. And then begin to walk your hands over to the right foot. Come to the ball of the back foot. Move the right foot over to the right side. Have your toes point slightly out. Lower your left knee down. And again, if you need padding, use some padding. We'll come to lizard pose here. So you can stay on your fingertips. You might lower further down, and if you have blocks, they might be incredibly helpful. I don't have blocks. I'm going to stay on my hands. And notice again, are you pushing? Are you forcing? Can you soften your approach? And then come back onto your hands if you went lower. Just simply step your right knee next to your left one. You can have your hands directly under your shoulders. Move your hips in one direction. Make circles. And then move your knees or move your hips in the opposite direction. Knees stay put, hips move. Bring the big toes together, the knees slightly wider. Rest your forehead down, child's pose. Can you relax the belly again? Let the breath move all the way down. Where are you being hard on yourself? Are you being hard on your body? Are you being hard on your mind? Are you judging your emotions? And the tendency of the critical mind is to start criticizing the criticizing. And that's where it takes an incredible amount of wisdom to stop the pattern and love the one that criticizes, the one who criticizes. Lift your forehead, reach your arms forward, spread your fingers. Slowly make your way back to downward facing dog. Take an inhale in your down dog. And on your exhale, step your left foot forward and help it up if it doesn't come all the way. We'll set up for high lunge for a brief moment. Again, so soften the back knee. Let the tailbone release down. Lift your arms up. Soften the gaze. Soften your gaze. And if you are really advanced in your practice, you might try smiling here while you are doing this practice. If you're really unable to smile, it's probably the Pitta imbalance. So just see if you can find a little sense of relaxation to your cheeks or your jaws. Take one more inhale here. On the exhale, lower your hands down. Walk your hands to the right side. Parallel your feet. We'll take another forward fold here. Take an inhale. On the exhale, fold over the legs. You can take an inhale through the nose and exhale. Stick out your tongue. Just release the breath out. And do that one or two more times if it feels good for you. And then start walking your hands to the left foot. We'll come to lizard pose again. Come to low lunge. So heel, lift the back heel up. And then move your left foot to the left. The right knee comes down. Your hands could be on blocks or any supports that you have. Or you can place your hand underneath your shoulders. Perhaps pause here. Notice again, how are you practicing? Are you pushing? Are you demanding? Are you forcing? Can you soften? Can you trust and surrender? And the Pitta is such a good organizer, such a good leader. that it often kind of stays stuck in that role, and it begins to think that it can organize everything, it can control everything, it can manage everything. We have to learn to recognize what are the areas in our lives where we can take that control and where it's being asked of us. And then what are the areas where we have to let go, where we need to surrender. From here, begin to rise up onto your hands. Move your left knee next to the right one. Place your hands directly under the shoulders. Again, circle the hips in one direction. Circle the hips in the opposite direction. Come back to center. Since Pitta accumulates in the abdominal area, we're going to do a gentle abdominal release. You can lower your elbows down where your shoulder or where your hands were, right underneath your shoulders. Bring the palms together, lower your forehead down, and leave your hips over your knees. And then coming into this heart melting pose to stretch the abdominals in a gentle way without creating too much heat. Pause here for about 10 breaths. Keeping a little support in your lowest abdominals if you notice that you begin to sink in your lower back. About 3 more breaths here. And if you start feeling a pinch in your shoulders, come out sooner. And then straighten your arms and slowly begin to rise up from here. You can come to sit on your heels, and if that's uncomfortable, you can place something between the ankles and sit on that like a folded blanket. Roll the shoulders back, lengthen the spine, and close your eyes. Relax the jaw again. Notice how you feel. You can place one of your hands over your heart and the other one over your belly. Receive the touch from your hands with your torso. Perhaps affirming to yourself that it is safe to be here. It is safe to trust. It is safe to make mistakes. It is safe to be in progress. It is safe to be imperfect. You can slowly begin to lower your hands down. Let your chin come down towards the chest and flutter the eyes open. Come to sit on one side of your feet and bring your legs in front of you. You can lean back and bounce the knees. And then bring the soles of the feet together. Let your knees open out wide. Hold on to your shins or your ankles. Take an inhale to lengthen. Exhale, fold. Again, can you come into this shape with this sense of softening and relaxing? Forward folds are cooling, so they can help us to reduce that excess heat of Pitta dosha. But again, sometimes we can bring that approach of forcing even to the forward folds. So I invite you to soften. Only soften if you really truly recognize the benefit in that. Otherwise, you can keep doing what you're doing if it's bringing you results. If you're ready to try something new, try something different to receive different kinds of results. And often doing what the mind, the ego part is terrified to do might be something worth trying. Slowly come all the way up from here. Let your knees close like a book. Let your legs lengthen forward and bounce. And then next we're going to bend the right knee so that the foot comes next to you on the floor. And then you can bend your left knee also so that the sole of the foot comes down. And you can begin to lower down from here. Maybe you come onto your elbows. Or if you feel like you're not really feeling a stretch in the front of the hip or the thigh, you could also come all the way down. But if the right knee lifts off the ground, then you know you've gone too far. I sometimes like to use a little bit of support, maybe under the head or under the chest and the head. You can open the arms out wide. And if you're reclined on the floor and still not feeling anything, I suspect it's quite rare to not be feeling something. But in that case, you could draw your left knee a little bit closer, but keep the right knee down. And just take that gentle and soft approach to this. Soften your body, relax the face, relax the belly, and just breathe in there. Your breath can become soft, natural. As best as you can, soften the face. About another 3 more breaths. And then slowly you can either begin to come up. If you are reclined, you might be able to release your right leg, lean over to the right and bend the left knee. Otherwise, come up and do this in a seated position. And then you can lower down onto your elbows or all the way down. Notice if your mind wants to take you further and if it's not happy with where you are. Can you trust that there is something very valuable where you are? And that the thinking of not being enough is actually the issue in a way, not your body not being able to do what you want it to do. And then take about 3 more breaths here. And then you can begin to rise up. Release your right leg and release your left leg. Lean back onto your hands and pause to notice how you feel. And then take your cushion and lay onto your back. Bend your knees and move your hips over to the right side. So move your hips over to the right side, lift your legs, let your legs fall over to the left. And you could place your cushion in between your thighs, open the right arm out, perhaps open the left arm out. And if your right shoulder is lifted, support it with a blanket or a shirt. We're going to hold this restorative twist for a moment. Reclined twists are okay for Pitta dosha, but twists tend to be heat building, so we want to avoid those really intense twists when we are working on lowering the excess heat of the Pitta dosha. You can visualize yourself at a beach or on a rock where there is a nice cooling breeze. And you're watching the ocean, very gentle ocean waves lapping into the shore, calming you down. Might even feel your toes in the water, that cooling ocean water touching your toes and your feet. And we'll slowly begin to release and move over to the next side. So just bring your knees back to center and your hips back to center. You can pause here in the middle for a moment. Notice again how you feel. Move your hips over to the left side. Lift your legs and roll them over to the right. You can support your legs with something in between the thighs. Open the left arm out. The head can stay at the center. So this practice is actually designed to bring us back into balance. And when we are out of balance, we don't often notice it. It might be a very natural state for us to be in. And sometimes when we come into a balanced place after a long history of being out of balance, it can feel boring. It can feel like it's not really doing anything. Maybe we're so used to this pushing approach that we're uncomfortable with the ease and with the relaxation and the peacefulness and the softness. You can bring yourself back to that visual of the ocean. Maybe feel that cooling water touching your toes and your feet. You might watch the surrounding trees, the leaves as they take the wind, the roots that connect the tree trunk deep into the face of the earth. Slowly begin to bring yourself back to center. Bring your hips back to center. You can bend your knees. And then take your cushion and place it under your hips. You can stay here, or you could extend your legs either one at a time or both at a time. Take your arms out wide into a comfortable position. Make sure the cushion is under your sacrum, so it doesn't feel uncomfortable for the lower back, but it's supporting the hips. And if you'd like, you could take your arms all the way overhead and really stretch the front line of the body. Release any excess heat from that abdominal area. Soften the face, soften the shoulders. And slowly begin to release your arms back down and start bending your knees. Move the cushion from underneath you. We're going to set up final relaxation. If you'd like, you could take something under the head. If you have a pillow, you could also place something under the knees. Let the arms rest alongside of your body. Close the eyes and allow the body, all the muscles to relax, all the bones to become heavy and supported. You can visualize yourself on a very wide and sturdy surfboard. And you're supported by the water. You might feel the water touching your body from each side, but you can rest here, fully supported, fully relaxed. Not having to direct where the water is taking you. Just letting go and trusting it is the right place. And feel free to stay here for as long as you'd like. When you start feeling complete, you can wiggle your fingers and your toes, keeping the sense of softness in your body. Go ahead and stretch your body long, reach your arms overhead, your toes forward. And then draw your knees into your chest and rock from side to side. Roll over to your right side into a fetal position. Pause there. Allow your body to soften down. And here, come up with 3 encouraging things or words you can say to yourself. You are doing the best you can. You are enough as you are. I am strong and capable. I am soft and wise. Whatever you want to hear, what does that innocent part of you want to hear? Start pressing your left hand down and your right hand down. Make your way into a seated position. Once more, close your eyes and bring your palms together at your heart. Bow your head down to your heart and thank yourself for this practice today. Namaste. I wish you a lovely, calm, and relaxed rest of your day wherever you are. If you like this practice, please leave a comment and subscribe. You can also find me on Instagram at Mikaela Sol, Mikaelasol. I hope to connect with you. Thank you. Namaste.